So I'm here with my buddy Dave. We're currently in Modesto, California. Now Dave has recently moved to Serbia, and well, actually it's not recent, but he decided to leave California and move to Serbia. And so, Dave, if you can tell me what made you decide to make this change?
Well, Greg, let me tell you. So, after living in California most of my life, I decided it was time for a change. I lived in Central Valley, California, Oakdale, and most of my life in Modesto. Then I decided to sell. I decided to sell the property here in Modesto and move to Florida for a while. And I found that Florida wasn't really my fit. I like the four seasons, and it's like a lot of sun and a lot of rain in Florida. So after I sold that property in Florida, I moved to Southeast Asia. That was a great experience. But I found that after a few years in Thailand and Vietnam, I moved to Serbia, and they had a residency program that if you purchased a property, opened a business, you can get a temporary visa, a one-year visa. And those that travel know that visas can extend from 30 days to 90, sometimes 6 months at the most. But to have a year-long visa in a country is fairly special. And there's only a few countries that actually do that unless you invest $100,000 or more or whatever the case. So I found that they have properties for sale. And instead of opening a company, I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and purchase a property. And get this, the properties are only between $10,000 US dollars all the way up to as high as you want to go. But for realistic terms, on a budget for having, a home base in Europe, I paid 20,000 US dollars for approximately 1,200 square foot farmhouse with several outbuildings and on 1.5 acres, really about 1.3 to 1.5 acres. So, so far that's worked out. I purchased that property just about a year ago, and I'll be reapplying for my second year-long visa.
Wow. So with purchasing that property for $20,000, you're able to get a one-year visa.
Correct.
Wow, that's a great.
Yeah, it's a temporary visa, and then I think it becomes after 3 years, you can apply for permanent residency, and then once you apply for permanent residency and learn the language, and maybe a couple other things, you can apply for citizenship, which allows you to get a passport, a Serbian passport. And the Serbian passport is fairly desirable because it opens you up to being able to visit other countries visa-free, or paying a small amount for a 30, 60, 90-day visa. So it's a really great passport. Obviously, the U.S. passport's almost number one in the world, I believe still. We're able to go anywhere we want with the United States passport. But if you want a second passport, which is what a lot of people are doing by getting second citizenships, third citizenship by investment or by purchase of property or whatever, that's a viable option over there in Serbia.
So how do you like Serbia? I mean, as far as living costs go.
Yeah.
How much?
So overall, Serbia is located, for those that don't know, this isn't Siberia, that's in Russia. It's Serbia, which is right next to Croatia, Romania, and Hungary. So it's what's known as the Balkans. And so far, I like it. It's a great place to live. There's a lot of people that start families. It's fairly family oriented. It'd be like California, circa 1975, probably.
Oh, wow.
So you still have the family values. It's a little backwards in some ways that you don't have all the options for food or whatever. But overall, it's a great place. There's nice people, and I think a majority of your viewers would like it if they can stand the four seasons and some of the abnormalities. You have to learn the language of the native country that you move to. They're not, for people that are Serbians that are 35 years or older, approximately, this is a generalization, but they don't really speak English that great. So 35 and under, the younger population has a better command of the English language. As far as cost of living, it's a great place, providing you understand that not everything's cheap no matter where you go. So although housing's cheap and my utilities, for example, are fairly cheap compared to California or Western standards. For example, last month I paid a total of 40 to 50 US dollars for electricity, say $10 for garbage and $10 for water. These are averages.
Oh, that's good.
So you're looking at $60, then add another 30 for internet, another 10 to 20 for Wi-Fi or a mobile SIM card, cell phone service.
Okay.
And then if you can go up from there. I don't have health insurance. I just pay cash for any type of health insurance. Health insurance is fairly cheap. I had some dental work done. Something had a cap replaced on my front teeth and some other dental work. And what would normally cost probably about $5,000 cost me about $1,500 US dollars. And understand they use the Serbian dinar, but for your audience, I'm just converting it basically into US dollars.
So if you're a single guy over there, how much? What would you say the average person could live on, per month, as far as monthly
I would say
expenses?
after, depending on if you had to rent or if you purchased like I did, your rent, say in one of the 2 or 3 major cities, Belgrade probably being the most expensive. If you're gonna live in a fairly decent area, fairly close to shops, I mean, just to standardize it all across the board, you're probably looking at about $500 a month for rent over there.
Okay.
That would probably include your garbage and your water bill. They may or may not include electricity, depending on your usage or how the landlord wants to set that up. Sometimes electricity is separate. Obviously, each person's use of electricity is different. Therefore, the landlord doesn't want to absorb the cost of that if you are an electricity hog. But they usually have in apartments, it's standardized that the landlord would pay for garbage, water, and internet. And then you may or may not pay for electricity. So you're looking at between $300 to $600.
Okay.
Average is $400 to $500 for a studio of approximately 40 square meters.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whatever that translates to in square footage or whatever, but that's about the gist of it.
Right. So it kind of makes sense for somebody if they like it there
Yeah.
to purchase a property.
Yeah, if you want to purchase a village property, you can do that. Or if you want to purchase what we call a condo, they call a flat or an apartment. The connotation between apartment for the USA and over there is different. We rent apartments here. Over there, they sell them. So it's really like a condo. And so you can purchase a condo over there for approximately $50,000 to $100,000 for a basic flat or one bedroom, say 40 to 60 square meters. And an older building, this is old world Europe and city center. You go to some of the newer places, obviously they're going to be in the $60,000 to $70,000 to $80,000 range. The more bedrooms, the more square footage, you're looking at a higher price. I'm not sure of what the cost per square meter is. My understanding, it's probably around 1,000 a square meter,
Okay.
I believe. So you can go off that, but location, amenities, it'll vary. So I'm using averages right here in an older building that you in an apartment or a condo that you may have to put a little bit of sweat equity into. You're probably looking between $40,000 to $60,000 for a 40 square foot
Okay. So it's,
square meter
yeah,
place.
so it's a fairly roomy condo. I mean,
Yeah,
to me it is. I've
yeah.
seen some places in Thailand that are like 24 square meters, you
Oh, for
know?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having lived in Thailand and some Vietnam and some other places, they're a little bit bigger in the Balkans. Not a lot, but they're affectionately referred to as commie blocks, unless you purchase the commie blocks, meaning a nondescript large building, probably 5 stories high,
Uh-huh.
with not much, architectural detail or motifs or anything like that, right? These are utilitarian places. So again, 40 to 50, 60,000. Now you go to like a place or a street area called Vracher, and that's the old growth trees, a park nearby, amenities, cafes, all the cute stuff that people like or whatever. And then you're looking at 50, 60, 70, depends. But overall, for a single guy to live in the Balkans and in a nice area, close to shopping, close to everything else, renting, you could probably live on about $1,500 a month.
Oh,
Fifteen
okay.
hundred, and that's,
Okay.
I mean, provide you're going to take public transportation, you're going to take Uber or what they would call, I forget the name of it, but whatever the ride-hailing service is, and it's fairly cheap. I mean, you can get a ride probably like 5 miles distance for like $5.
Oh,
It's
that's
yeah, it's
good.
fairly
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
Depending on rush hour, it's just like any ride-hailing service. The more demand there is, the higher the price goes per mile or whatever. But you can live fairly inexpensively, providing you don't have to buy a lot of your own furniture. Like if you bought a village home, then you're going to probably want to buy tools. You're going to want to buy furniture for it. You're going to want to do some remodeling. That's where things can get a little expensive. I found that the tools are just as expensive as in the USA. A lot of their stuff is products are of any quality are imported from around the world, and so there's a high import tax, and there's a fluctuating or graduating sales tax depending on what you purchase. So and that sales tax can range all the way up to, from 20 to 50%. So it's
Oh,
fairly
wow.
expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but food products are, for anything of quality are fairly inexpensive. If you buy imported goods, just anything that you want from sriracha, hot sauce to whatever, to a Mars bar, it's going to be relatively more expensive than something produced in country, just like anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can get away with probably, and that's going out included, probably $600 a month in food, depending on how much you decide to
Oh,
go
okay.
out and eat and whatever.
Right.
And I am putting some, entertainment in that budget too. So
How do you like the food there in comparison to when you were in Thailand?
the food is okay. It would be considered home cooked meals
Uh-huh.
standard.
Okay.
Home style. If you're in a larger city like Belgrade, you have like all the options. It's a large, populous, major city in that country. Therefore, you have a variety of restaurants and services that you can get. But compared to Thailand, Thailand has everything, providing you live near a major city, right? Because then
Right.
instead of the local cuisine, which is mostly Thai foods and stuff, they're going to have Western foods that cater to Westerners that go there. So you have a variety of options there in Thailand also. So it's relatively the same, but you get outside of those major cities, you're going to have a hard time finding, if you want a taco, if you like Mexican food, extremely difficult to find
Mm,
any quality Mexican food, extremely difficult to find Asian food and stuff like that.
yeah.
So the food choices are way different. outside of the major cities.
Right.
And that, it figures, right? People in different countries have lived on certain staples of food depending on what they can grow or raise. So it makes sense, you know.
Now, if you don't mind me
Sure.
asking, you spent time in Thailand and Vietnam.
Yeah.
Um, when you went from Thailand, over there to
Hmm.
Serbia, is there any, do you have any preference between the two?
Well, they're two totally different cultures and totally different experiences, right? Serbia has 4 seasons, so currently it's snowing over there. Uh, and it gets snow in Serbia in various areas, probably 5 to 10 times out of the year. So if you can stand that, and it's a light dusting of snow, you're looking at like probably 2, 3 inches.
Oh,
Then
okay.
it's not bad. It's
So,
not like in Minnesota or Montana where you get a few feet of snow and then the roads are closed. That's not how it is in Serbia. There's rarely any roads that are ever closed. There's nothing like that. So but Thailand is different because you get there's a rainy season and then it's extremely hot season,
right,
right?
right.
It's the tropics.
Yeah.
And Thailand has different temperate climate. They have mountains, they have the ocean, they have, different parts of Thailand that have microclimates. And it's the same with Serbia, except for the tropics part. Serbia has mountainous ranges. They have a large river and recreational. So the river's so clear in some parts that you can see all the way down the bottom, and it's 20 to 30 feet.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a national
Oh,
park. There's a lot to do in Serbia.
uh-huh.
It's currently where I live, so if you wanted to go fishing, you can. If you wanted to go hunting, you can for different types of game. And overall, there's quite a few activities. If you get to know the locals, that helps, just like anywhere that you move to. They can show you around and,
Yeah.
get you acclimatized to their culture and
Oh,
what they
okay.
do.
Okay.
Because what Thais do recreationally and what Serbians do recreationally, some of it's the same. They like to drink alcohol,
Yeah.
and they like to sit around and they like cook food, but they like, there's some things they do different. So
No, no, what about the as far as like maybe you know this as far as the dating scene goes,
yeah,
you know, what's that like in Serbia compared to say Thailand?
uh, I think it depends on your age. As an older man now, between the two, I think the dating options in Thailand are a lot better. I would say, depending on your ethnicity and what you're looking for, there's in Europe, obviously, there's a lot of Europeans. In Southeast Asia, there's a lot of Asians. So if you have a preference between the two, then you would want to move forward with that. But I think for Serbia, there's a lot of great women there, and I would highly recommend it if that's something that you want to move forward with. Now, age gap relationships, if we can go that route.
Yeah.
In Southeast Asia, it's a lot easier to date, say, a woman that's 15 years younger than myself. Over in Serbia, probably not so much. 10 years would be probably the maximum that a woman will want to date outside of her age range. And but personally, I like the Serbian women. I like the Balkans. I see Balkans women. There's Serbians, Croatians, there's Hungarians located all in Serbia. Borders have shifted so much over the last few hundred years that you have different peoples that live in Serbia, have a heritage and ethnicity from their own countries that are located in that region, that still claim to be Hungarian, that still claim to be Croatian. They still have a little bit of identity politics involved,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most, you're talking white people, and the women have this which is refreshing compared to American women. They have a vitality about them that I find interesting. They're really outgoing and talkative, and they're interesting. Their education system's really good, so they're educated and cultured for the most part, you know.
Uh-huh.
So this is a broad statement. Of
Right,
course, you're
right.
going to get, you know, you go deep into villages anywhere, whether it's Southeast Asia or in Serbia, in the Balkans. You know, the exposure to culture outside of the village is limited, right? So, but for
Yeah.
the most part, the more you get into the big cities, the more cultural there is. The more you get outside of the big cities into the villages, the more simple life there is. So, and sometimes that's what a lot of men want nowadays. They want, you know, not so much the overly cultured, whatever. They want a simple
Right.
life with a woman that has traditional values and wants to settle down with one man and maybe have kids or not, have a family. And like I said earlier, Serbians really still hold on to their traditions, and family values is super important to them. So I can really
Oh,
appreciate
that's
that.
good. Yeah. Yeah. So as you know, since you've been to these different places and actually lived in them,
Yeah.
do you ever, you know, I know you're here with me right now in California,
Yeah.
but do you ever say, "Oh God, I miss California so much"? Do you does that ever happen, or
You
is
know,
that
sometimes when I can't get the different spices or the different foods or the convenience of items,
Mhm.
there's no really Amazon.com over there or whatever where you get a shipment of your packages or products within 2 days.
Yeah.
You got to hunt for stuff. So those are the times where my frustration levels get high. But when I come back to California, like I've been for the last 2 weeks now, usually I've got about a 2 week period where the honeymoon phase wears off, and I realize I'm back in California where rents are 2,000 US dollars per month for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath in an okay part of town. And then and you don't really want to take public transportation around here.
Right.
Ubers are
Yeah.
too expensive, and if you got then you got to have a car. I mean, we're a car society, so you figure another $500-600 a month for that. So you're looking at, to live here in California, between $3,000 and $5,000 a month to live comfortably because of food, rent, utilities, everything else.
Yeah, and then you have your taxes on top of that. So
Right.
I mean, I think that that number is probably closer to 5 grand a month just to get by.
I think so. Yeah, and we talked about this earlier
Yeah.
that, you know, there's living and then there's getting by. A lot of people say, "Oh, I can live in Southeast Asia for $500 a month." Well, I'll bet you could survive in Southeast Asia because there's, you know, currently Asians doing that
Right,
in the
right.
village. Now, would you want to do that is the question. So if you want to live comfortably, maintain somewhat of a normalized, I say Western lifestyle, but have some of the creature comforts like a steak once a month, or your favorite alcohol, or foods, whatever, maybe some entertainment. You're going to have to pay $1,000 to $1,500 a month to live in Southeast Asia.
Right.
But now, like we just said, you want to pay say, let's get crazy and say you can live okay in California for $3,000 a month. Would you want to pay that? Would you still want to pay $3,000 a month and live in California? Or is it more fun to live in Southeast Asia for $1,500 a month and get everything that you want?
Yeah, I personally, I mean, I feel like the lifestyle in Southeast Asia is so much better for so much less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, so and it sounds like Serbia is kind of the same. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, yeah,
Yep.
it's like
Now, there is one knock against Serbia. Well, there's probably a few, but since I live there, I won't go into too much detail. But on the one is the medical care. Now, they have outpatient clinics there that you can go to get minor procedures done. You can get blood work done. You can get like a skin tag removed. You can get, they have decent dental care. I understand that, like I've got some dental work done there, and I would say it's on par with Southeast Asia, if you go to a dental practice that caters to Westerners in Southeast Asia, or you go to one that's higher end, dental office is higher end in one of the major cities, you can get quality dental care that uses the same type of, you know, prosthetics or whatever they're called, you know, dental crowns and stuff like that. A lot of it's imported from Korea, South Korea, and I think Germany. So if you get the high end, I forget what it's called, zirconians, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you want high end quality work done on your teeth, then you'll want to go to one that caters to Westerners. And so I would say Southeast Asia is probably cheaper than the Balkans,
Oh, okay.
but not by much, maybe like 10%. They're both inexpensive and produce high quality work, in my opinion. Just like anywhere, you have to, you know, ask them what type of procedures they do and what type of work you want done, and then make sure that they do it.
Now, Thailand had really, I was impressed with their dental work and the prices and stuff
Yeah.
there. It was really reasonable.
Yeah. But the difference regarding hospitals is majorly different.
Okay.
It's known in Serbia that, you know, medical care is not the best. So you'll want to probably leave the country if you have any major medical
Right.
stuff go on. So
Okay, well, that's
and that you
good
need to
thing
know that, yeah, this
people
isn't
to
a
know.
place for retirees to come. Whereas Southeast Asia, you know, I say Southeast Asia, I should say like Thailand, really, and maybe some parts of Malaysia, and maybe some parts of the Philippines, you know, and they're highly populated areas,
Right, right.
you know, that would provide high quality medical procedures like, you know, some cardiovascular stuff like stents, or some, you know, Thailand again, it has one of the best hospitals, some of the best hospitals. So they're hard to beat in that
Right.
you know,
right.
range. So if that's important to you, you know, I wouldn't travel to the Balkans if you're sickly and just think you're going to live here in a village and have quality medical care. You really probably should, you know,
Maybe not
think,
a good thing.
yeah, maybe think twice about it. Come to the Balkans first and see how you would fit in over here, and then make a decision if you want to stay long term.
Right.
I can you know, because I've traveled so much, I can tolerate different cultures and, you know, things like that. So I like the Balkans, but there are challenges. So if you're used to getting what you want in a timely manner, the Balkans is not the place to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you wanna get medical procedures, or you want to get other things done, if you want products delivered to your door, if you want all that sort of stuff, the conveniences, modern conveniences of, you know, the United States or whatever, you're going to have a difficult time. I understand even so you can get like items from AliExpress. So you can have really cheap, lightweight items sent to you from China to, you know, to your front door, and we're talking lightweight stuff. As soon as you get into the heavier items, you know, probably 5 pounds or more, 10 pounds or more, you're going to pay import taxes, and then it's going to be insanely expensive. It's like tacked on another 30%, and so it's not even worth it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not saving anything.
Oh,
You're better
okay.
off to buy it, you know, within country and just pay the high price for the tool or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for the information and
Yeah.
taking the time for this interview.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later, Greg.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you have your own channel that you're starting.
Yeah.
And, so, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. It's called Dave Away, and I have traveled to several destinations throughout Southeast Asia and Colombia, and now I'm in Serbia. But it's called Dave Away, and basically I'm doing the Balkans right now. So I'll be putting up, you know, cost of living videos, how to purchase a village home, and you know, who to contact in regards to year-long visas and stuff like that. So if your viewers are interested in something like that, go over to Dave Away and check out the videos.
Yeah, and Dave, Dave has a lot of knowledge as far as visas and that kind of stuff. Uh, you know, yeah, so he's got a lot of good information on there, and yeah, so check Dave out.
All right.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thanks.